Welcome to Lunch with Legacy Leaders, a weekly talk show with local and national thought leaders on issues impacting the Black community. Now introducing our host, Ms. Anne Marie Sorrell.
Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Lunch with Legacy Leaders. I'm your host, Anne Marie Sorrell, President and CEO of the Mosaic Group. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to join us this afternoon. Before we get started with our broadcast, I'd like to thank our sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Thank you to the Messam and Dover Accident Attorneys, AARP, Florida Lottery, and All of Us Research Program at the University of Miami. Now, today I am joined by my good friend, home team, mayor extraordinaire, leader extraordinaire, Mayor Wayne Messam of the city of Miramar. How are you, Mayor Messam?
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. It's always good to be in your presence.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And congratulations on all the things that you're doing. You're tearing it up out there.
Oh, thank you. You know, we got to represent for the home team. And for those who do not know what home team I'm talking about the Glades community. Mayor Messam reigns all the way from South Bay, Florida. Of course, I represent Pahokee, Florida, and we can't forget Belglade right in between.
That's right. Milk City.
That's right. So, Mayor Messam, you're no stranger to many. From being mayor of one of the fastest growing cities in South Florida to also running for president of the United States to, of course, your very successful construction company and so much more. I can ring your accolades all day long. But for those who don't know, I'm just going to do a quick overview of just some of your bio. I know there's so much more to talk about with you, but you've lived in Miramar for over 20 years. You're first generation American. You were born of parents from Jamaica. Of course, we share that in common as well. And we also share in common that your father, who labored in the sugarcane fields of the Glades, which is how your family came to the U.S., such as my grandfather worked in the sugarcane fields in the Glades. That's how we got here. So we share that commonality as well. But I think what stands out is Miramar's diverse cultural diversity and sense of community is what attracted you to the city of Miramar. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. You are no stranger to leadership and success. As a senior class president at Glade Central High School, you were offered a full athletic academic scholarship to attend Florida State University. You see, I wore my
go Noles, go Noles.
You know, my gold in maroon to represent the Noles for you today. You excel both on and off the field. Your accomplishments included starting as a wide receiver and a member of the 1993 National Championship football team under legendary coach Bobby Bowden. Mayor Messam was elected to student body vice president and by his peers during his senior year. One of his greatest highlights was when the FSU Black Alumni Association named him Student of the Year in 1996 for all of your accomplishments. After graduating from Florida State University with a bachelor's degree in Management Information Systems in 97, licensed as a general contractor and LEED accredited professional, Mayor Messam is a prominent young professional in the construction industry. Your company, Messam Construction, is currently building and managing some of the most exciting green construction projects in America and serves clients in the public and private sectors, providing construction management services. Messam Construction has received numerous awards and one of the fastest growing minority construction management firms in Florida. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention your lovely wife, Angela, for over 20 years and your 3 children, Wayne II, and twin daughters, Kayla and Kyla. So welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Wow, that was a lot.
Well, you a lot, sir. So, we're going to talk today about the city of Miramar. For you to just bring us kind of the state of the city. What's happening in Miramar? Give us a little background for those who may not be as familiar with the city of Miramar and just the growth and the diversity, the cultural diversity, et cetera.
Yeah, so again, thanks for having me on the program this afternoon. I'm really excited always to share and talk about the city of Miramar. The city of Miramar, for context for the viewers that may be watching, Miramar now is just about 150,000 residents. We're the 13th largest municipality in the state of Florida. We're situated equidistant right in the heart of South Florida. We're equidistant from both airports, Fort Lauderdale International, MIA, as well as both seaports. So we're 30 minutes from all three counties, Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County. So that's why I think Miramar has been such an attractive site and location. We boast the most Fortune 500 companies in the Tri-County area that either has a headquarters or some regional presence in South Florida. And that's really attributed to the planning of our city, our great schools, our diversity of housing stock for corporations and their employees. And it's just we get the best of being, you feel like a hometown city, but you get the access to everywhere else while having excellent and high paying jobs. So I'm really ecstatic about our city.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for giving us that background. So, when we talk about the state of the city, I'd love for you to just kind of touch on a few areas from economic development, public safety, art and culture, sports and entertainment, of course, the financial strength of the city. Can you talk to us? I'm sure there's a state of the city address that you give. You don't have to give the whole address here
Oh
today.
no, no, we'll be here for at least
But
an
just
hour. My team always struggle. There's so much great things happening in our city, and it's really a challenge every year to really give a dynamic presentation to our residents and our business community. But I just gave our state of the city a couple of months ago. I did it off-site at the Space Coast Credit Union headquarters down here, training headquarters down here in South Florida. The presentation basically gave a synopsis of the city over the last 2 years. Obviously, we all have come through the pandemic. The city of Miramar, we were very aggressive in responding to the needs of our residents and our business community. And I know that the legacy brand caters to Black professionals, Black businesses, and exposes that to the broader community. So in context of the viewership, with Miramar being the home of many successful Black entrepreneurs, Black professionals, we wanted to make sure that in addition to that demographic, along with our other demographies in the city, we wanted to ensure that we were a crutch for the community. So over the last year, we've provided assistance as it relates to rental assistance or mortgage payments for your residence or for your business, utility assistance, because the economy basically shut down. So while one sector of our economy was shut down, we also noticed that there were other industries in our city that were on fire because they were the heart of the supply chain for many industries. So we were very fortunate to actually see our economy grow. So not only did our economy grow, we actually were able to attract businesses. There was a mass, exodus or expansion of corporations because they were remote. They saw themselves being able to do their work from anywhere. And what other best place to be than Florida? And if you're in Florida, whatever the best place to be than South Florida. And then when folks come to South Florida, they may look at Miami and say, great, Fort Lauderdale, great, and then they hear about Miramar. And when they come to Miramar, some reason they love us. So, and we welcome them. So now that we've gone through the pandemic, we're still in the pandemic, so to speak. But we know that we wanted to ensure that we remained open. We wanted to ensure that our residents started to get back into some sense of normalcy. So we really are excited about our future. Miramar has always invested in ourselves. So in terms of our future outlook for the city, I'm very, very busy meeting with corporations, CEOs. We are expanding in so many aspects. We have a growing biotech sector. We have a very huge aviation sector. In addition, we have a very very robust IT sector as well. So one of my legacy projects I'm working on is to have our innovation village come to life in our historic district, where to be a component of an innovation center, which will provide workforce development, the development of emerging VC or capital to invest in great ideas. While there's been a very high interest of fintech to South Florida, companies are basically relocating from West Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Miramar down to Miami in the Southeast region. And we're primed to be able to support that with our very healthy stock of great business professionals and workforce, great housing, excellent schools. Culture is alive in the city of Miramar. And some people don't realize that Miramar is actually the largest Black populated city in Broward County. And with that diversity, and we have a very large Hispanic and Latino community as well. So we have a very rich economy that continues to grow. And my main focus is to ensure that Miramar remains on top. I mean, we're talking and developing solutions to accommodate autonomous vehicles. We're expanding our smart city concepts. We're thinking about things that may be going under the radar, but will be primed so that our businesses and our community can be ready for the future, have the infrastructure to support that growth. And our job is to make sure Miramar remains viable.
That is great. I love the outlook, Mayor Messam. And I guess my follow-up question to you is, how are you able to prepare your residents and workforce for, these, in some people's mind, futuristic projects, but technically these types of concepts have been around for a while, and other cities have been leading in these areas, especially like places like California, et cetera. I know Dallas, I believe it was when we went to Dallas, had an innovation city as well. So how do you prepare your residents? How do you prepare young people for these emerging opportunities that the city of Miramar is working so diligently to build and attract?
Well, first, it's about the partnerships with industry. I have no interest in philosophical and feel-good job training programs that have no application for the solutions of today. We're having real conversations with our corporate community to say, what skills do you need right now? What skills will you need in the future? Will you work with us and collaborating with higher ed and other workforce development agencies so that we can ensure that we provide the training opportunities to ensure that our residents and those who have an interest in your sector can get trained and get those skills that you can put to work day one. When you invite and you include industry in the development of those skill programs, then you have a product that will be meaningful and resourceful for those individuals who take advantage of those programs. Recently with the Jobs Act, the Jobs and Infrastructure Act that was passed, there is a lot of opportunities that will come down the pipe as it relates to infrastructure. But with that, there is a demand in equity in that process. So not only are the dollars going to be available, but the government is really trying to right the ship. So in other words, as our infrastructure is improving, there is a big push to not just to repave a road, but to make sure that the infrastructure is in place and the technology is in place to take us out decades to come. It's a once in a generation opportunity. So with these opportunities coming forward, it puts us in position to be able to merge private sector as well as government funding to ensure that we are preparing our residents to take advantage of these opportunities. Obviously, as government, we aren't the ones going out doing this work. We are just the facilitators. The private sector brings it to life. However, we can be the conduit. We can be the channel of information. We can provide the facilities to host the programs. And that's what I'm proposing with our innovation village, so that we can think outside of the box. Because in all reality, our community, especially our children, our children's children, and even the young workforce today, must realize that our economy is changing and we have to be more solution oriented. I don't think ever in our history that any individual can literally, with the use of their device in their mind, can solve a problem, bring an idea to concept, and bring it to scale to the marketplace. And we have so many bright individuals that are thinking about these solutions. So we want to make sure that the corporations that are here now, they're spending millions of dollars in research and advancements for their future projects. Why spend millions of dollars using consultants in Virginia, Chicago, or wherever when these bright minds are right here? So we want to merge that process and these entities together with our producers, our concept leaders, and our innovators so that we can have our own economy here where we are nurturing those budding minds to solve problems while they're actually building up the sustainability of our current corporations. Because the last thing we want to do is to have our corporations, get disrupted by some competitor. 15 years ago, Amazon was an online bookstore, and look at them now. And we want to make sure that we're creating the Amazons.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And I think that's so important. What I always liked about you, Mayor Messam, is that you're always thinking, many, many years into the future, and you're watching the trends. And I hope for anyone listening, I think one of the best pieces of advice I got from you years ago was, I think I mentioned to you, I was like, oh yeah, I'm putting together my sales plan and budget for next year. And you were like, next year? You should be putting together your strategy for the next 5 years, 10 years. And so I took that with me. And especially when we're talking about, government and cities, that have master plans for 5 and 10 and 20 years, I think residents and just regular constituents just don't know to look at those plans or understand how the city, particularly your city, is planning for 20 years into the future. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. And how can residents be more engaged into the planning process, whether they're residents of Miramar or for those who are listening in other that live in other cities? Yeah. How can they be more engaged in this process so they can start thinking opportunity, not just for themselves or their businesses, but their children, their grandchildren, 10, 20 years into the future?
Well, the first thing I would say is just pay attention to your public meetings. There are committee meetings. They're all broadcast online for the most part in most municipalities. Attend a commission or council meeting. Just sit and just listen. Even if you don't know what the issues are, download the agenda and just start watching and seeing the decisions that are being made on your behalf. I would just, read your city charter. I mean, it's online. It's on your cities. It's usually in your city's clerk's link. You can definitely, I would attend the budget meetings and the capital improvement plan meetings for your city. You may not agree with some of the proposals that are going on. And when you have an opportunity, volunteer. Volunteer on the various advisory boards, be a part, invest in your community. I always tell, especially young Black entrepreneurs, when my wife and I moved to Miramar over 20 years ago, the first thing we did was we kind of signed up for just the Parks and Recs board because we had young children who were participating in the sports program. So, and it kind of led to us getting more inquisitive about other aspects and other areas. We were young business leaders and we're building a business. So we wanted to know what resources were available and how to move around and navigate. So, but the thing is that be engaged with your government, know who your elected officials are. If you're a business owner, definitely connect with your cities or your county's economic development division or department. See what resources are there, especially if you're here in Broward County. In Broward County, Miami-Dade County, as well as Palm Beach County, it's more than just government contracts. These departments actually will link you with the private sector connections. If you're in trade and import and export, there's so many opportunities. Did you know that, for example, your county economic development board may have a trade mission to Europe or to Africa. Broward County is planning a trade mission to Dubai, and they often reach out to local small businesses to be a part of that delegation. Be in the loop with this, because there are so many opportunities out there. And I just try to encourage all entrepreneurs and business owners, let's get out of this mindset of lack. We already know there's challenges. We already know that there's barriers. Okay, so what? They're there. But there's so many opportunities that you can take advantage of, because we need you to be successful. Because when we are successful, guess who we're hiring? We're hiring the best minds, and a lot of those best minds happen to look like us, right? And then we are in a position to develop future business owners. So that's what gets me excited every day. These aren't always the sexy topics. You in my office, we do some cultural events and things to bring the community together, but my focus is really about legacy. I have to leave this city better than I found it. And, and we're in Black History Month right now. And I'm blessed that the residents that we work together, and I just happen to represent them as the first Black mayor of the city of Miramar. So I have to serve in a way that represents all of our community, but I also have to draw attention to make sure that we have equity in our process, so that as I'm serving, that I'm not the last mayor that looks like me, that there will be some young lady or some other gentleman of African descent who can represent a very diverse community like ours and serve with excellence.
No, absolutely. And thank you for that, Mayor. So just one follow-up question, because I know a lot of times people are thinking, okay, well, this is great. All these great things are happening within Miramar, and love the plans for Innovation Center and all the great things. Timelines, are there any timelines that people can kind of look forward to with some of the different initiatives that you've mentioned here, or what's coming up?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I can just look behind me because many of this has already started. So, for example, we already have implemented a partnership, for example, with Broward College. It's called the Broward Up program. These are real life skills that you can obtain. And President Gregory Hale, who's been doing such a great job at Broward College, our partnership with them, we focused this actually right in the heart of the community, our 33023 zip code. This is one of our zip codes. Now, you've heard all the great things in Miramar, but however, we do have one zip code in our city where just before the pandemic, even before the pandemic, it had one of the highest unemployment rates, in the county. So we'd already started working. So when the pandemic hit, it was timely that we were offering, people who are either displaced or not working, they were able to online get certifications in, whether it's in the medical field, and other areas that are in demand. So they're getting certifications and getting relevant skills to go right to employment today. So that is already in place, and those trainings continue on. Other thing in terms of timeline that's going on right now, I have, as for our young individuals, I have an annual aviation expo, and we cater that to Broward County students. We also have students from Miami-Dade County that attend, over 2,000 students. We transform our Miramar Amphitheater into anything aviation. Aviation is one of our largest sectors here in business sectors in Miramar and employers. So whether you're a pilot or aeronautical engineer, or a repair mechanic, or a flight attendant, or aviation business consultant, there are so many fields. It literally leaves no person behind, regardless of your interests, your academic acumen. And it really, it's a joy when you see. We have cohorts that started in the 8th grade, and they've graduated from high school. And right behind City Hall, Broward College has their air traffic control program. And to see those students who look like you and I, graduate from that program, get a job, and at the age of 21, 22, get their first job may be at some regional airport, making about just under $60,000. But in 3 years, they're at a national or international airport making six figures, and they're not even 25 years old, right? That is life transforming. So those are the things that we're doing. We're not interested in pie in the sky solutions. However, we don't limit the impossible, because we know that the impossible can happen. So we have something for practical right now application for those individuals that really want to say that I want to solve this problem that has never been solved before. And I want to get with Siemens, who in here in Miramar, or work with Amazon that's here in Miramar to solve a problem. We have an idea for them. We want to get a seat at the table to see if they will invest in us, and those are the doors we're opening and putting and connecting individuals with.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that information. So real quick, you have some upcoming events, because Miramar is there's also fun in Miramar.
Yeah.
I know you have your annual walk coming up. So let's talk about some of your upcoming events.
Well, I'm hosting Black History Month in the city of Miramar. We've already started off strong. On the first, we had our clergy luncheon where we invited, it was an interfaith luncheon where we brought the clergy community together to pray on our city. When you think about Black history, every major development in Black history, or the American experience as it relates to people of color, Black individuals, it's been joined to the hip with faith. And we want to recognize that, and we wanted to bring our clergy community together. Our places of worship, our houses of worship, our churches, our mosques, our synagogues, they're all doing so much in our community. So we wanted to honor them and recognize them as they continue to pour into our community. Tomorrow night, we have a family event. We're hosting a screening of the movie Harriet at the Anson Sports Complex. It'll be one of those old school drive-in movie experiences where you drive in with your car, you park, there's the big screen, you turn to a radio frequency, and you can watch a great movie like Harriet that basically talks about the life of Harriet Tubman. And it's a great motion picture. Some of us may have seen it, some may not have seen it, but even if you've seen it, it's a great way to get together as a family while honoring Black history and showing a very significant component of the of that era and the struggles of slaves leaving the South through the assistance of Harriet Tubman. We have a mixture of in-person event on next Thursday, February 10th, at the Miramar Cultural Center Banquet Hall. It's targeted for young professionals. It's called Cocktails and Convos. It will be at 6 o'clock at the banquet hall, where you have a chance to win some money with some Black history trivia, some music, but we're going to have some real conversations with a panel discussion talking about the issues that are important to young professionals in the city of Miramar. The event is absolutely free. You can you see my handle on the scroll, or go to the city of Miramar, miramarfl.gov/Black History Month, and you'll see all the events. And next Sunday, I'm hosting a Divine Nine Super Bowl watch party at the Miramar Cultural Center. It's absolutely free. We'll have food, DJ, a cash bar, and you don't have to be Greek to come. So if you're looking for a place to come watch with other individuals in a safe environment, we're limiting the attendance to 200. It'll be an indoor and outdoor event. But if you've been to the Miramar Cultural Center, beautiful facility, spacious, and we look forward to having a great time there. There's just so many other events, but I will conclude with these two. Every Saturday at 10 o'clock, I host a free yoga session for the community. And we'll have a Black History themed month. It's right at the Botanical Garden at the Miramar Cultural Center. It's free of charge. It's from 10 to 11 o'clock. Rocky Rowland is our yoga instructor. She is phenomenal. You don't have to be a lifelong yogi. It can be your first time trying. She really makes it very easy for anyone to come out to participate. So those are just some. So there's just a couple of the events. We have dozens more in person and virtual, and I invite you to go to miramarfl.gov Black History Month, and you'll see the list of events that we have going on, something for everyone.
That is awesome. Very exciting. I'm going to see what I can make my way to. So before we close out, Mayor Messam, do you have any additional takeaways or closing thoughts for our listeners?
Well, what I would say is that for the listeners who are business owners, that, I'm a business owner myself in my private life. And I just want to encourage you to think big. I would say expand your mind. Always find a book to read. Always network with individuals that you don't think you have anything in common with. If you're around the same people all the time that aren't building into you, you need to change your circles. Find mentors for your business. In your business, put processes in place. And at the end of the day, it's really about putting an organization in place that can operate without you. That's what you want to do. Because if you have to get up every day and do every aspect of your business, you can choose to do that. But if you want more, and if you want to scale, and if you want to grow, you have to entrust your people to do the things that you have done. And I know that's very difficult because your business is your baby. No one's going to care about your baby more than you. And I get that and I understand that. But I definitely encourage you to develop individuals who can take over some of those roles to free you up to be able to do the things that you need to do, like growing your business, finding new solutions, making investments, perhaps in other sectors, to do things on your private life, So I just encourage you just to think outside of your comfort zone. Take that leap and trust me, you will not only fly, but you will soar.
Man, you just said a whole word. Did you say that word for me today? Because I think that was just for me.
Yeah,
Well,
just
thank
speaking
you.
from personal experience.
Absolutely. Well, I know you could teach an entire class on business growth and scaling, which we may have to arrange that someday. But
Yeah, you know how to reach me.
absolutely. Well, thank you. Please stay with me for a moment, Mayor Messam. Let me just do a few announcements, but I want to thank you again for joining us on Lunch with Legacy Leaders. It has been an absolute pleasure. You and I could talk for hours about government and business and all those great things in our community.
Yes, we can. And thanks for having me again.
You're welcome. So thank you once again to our sponsors, the Messam and Dover Accident Attorneys, AARP, Florida Lottery, and All of Us Research Program at University of Miami. Also, our partners at Broward College. If you're looking for a higher paying job, start your life-changing career in 2 years or less with the Broward College Fast Track Certification Program. Training is available for South Florida's top earning industries, and you can learn more at broward.edu/fast track legacy or call 954-306-9085. Be sure to check out our current issue, which is our new Black History Month issue, which is loaded with content of what's happening in and around South Florida, as well as all of our history makers this month. And this weekend through the 5th, through Saturday, the New World Symphony presents I Dream a World, the Harlem Renaissance and Beyond. And that's at the New World Center. You can check that out through Saturday. Of course, we have all of our shows that we have something for everyone. So don't forget to tune in on Mondays, The Business of Black Business at 1 p.m. with Jay Reynolds. Tuesday, My Money, Your Money at 7 p.m. with Bridgette Lumpkins. Wednesday, Soul at 7 p.m. with Nikki Jellin. Of course, Thursdays, Lunch with Legacy Leaders with yours truly. And at 7 p.m. on Thursday, you can get the latest culinary dishes with Chef Irie with all of the best of that South Florida Black-owned restaurants have to offer. And as always, please remember to share this video because someone out there could use this content for themselves or their family or just our community. Make sure you like the video and tune in next Thursday at noon. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you again, Mayor Messam.
Thank you.